So you may have heard the legend of the rock band that was so into themselves that they would insist in their rider that in the dressing room there had to be a bowl of M&Ms that was just green ones. Back in the 70s, when you couldn't buy this at the M&M store, somebody had to go through and actually pick out the green ones. And this is a story I've heard many, many times. It used to be a favorite of Kenneth "Shark" Kinney, the amazing keynote speaker who we lost last year, sadly. So this is dedicated to you, Shark. And it turns out that story is grounded in truth. It wasn't green M&Ms, it was actually brown ones. And it wasn't Led Zeppelin, though that's often the one that people talk about when they share this urban legend. It was Van Halen had a note at the bottom of their rider, buried way down under, the bottles of water and the Jack Daniels and all the other things, that said in their dressing room there had to be a bowl of M&Ms with no brown ones. Which, of course, there are a lot of brown M&Ms in M&Ms. And the reason for this is that Van Halen's set in the 70s and 80s, their stage set was very complex between the drums and the back line of the amps and the gear and the cables and the pyrotechnics that, if they're not right, can set you on fire. So it was really important that their entire rider had been followed to the tiniest detail. And so they included the thing about the no brown M&Ms in the dressing room so that when they walked in, immediately they could see if there was a bowl with no brown M&Ms, they knew the rider had been followed and their safety checks were probably all squared away with the pyrotechnics and the backline and the drums and all the other stuff. But if that bowl wasn't there, or if it was full of brown M&Ms like every other bowl, that means they had to go through and check all the details. And so this is the power of a story to last through decades. Even when it gets twisted a little bit into green M&Ms and Led Zeppelin and all things like that, it's a true story and it had a real purpose. And after hearing Shark tell that story a bunch of times, I wanted to share it with you. So, rock on.